Osnivač Mohanđi fondacije, humanitarac Mohanđi, opisuje sebe kao osobu koja služi svijetu i to sa samo jednom svrhom, da podstakne ljude da dostignu vrhunske vrijednosti ljudskog potencijala, ljubaznost, saosjećanje, nenasilnost. Da su ove vrijednosti nasušno potrebne svijetu u kome dominira trka za uspjehom, novcem, napredovanjem, pokazuje činjenica da je Mohanđi, koji je od 2012. prisutan u javnom životu, za samo 10 godina postao aktivan na 6 kontinenata. Njegovi programi održavaju se i u našem regionu, a Mohanđi rado dolazi u Crnu Goru, gdje je ove godine u Ulcinju vodio program za 200 polaznika iz cijelog svijeta.
You recently completed the retreat Find the Peace Within here in Ulcinj. What happened to us as humans? How did we manage to lose the inner peace? So we have to seek it.
Simple answer is wrong connection. We connect to what we see outside. For example, we look at the society and society considers us as something and we accept it. We hardly look inside because we are unique beings. Our thumb impression is unique to ourselves. We are born unique. We are authentic. We are original. But all the time, we are trying to imitate something. We are trying to compare. We are trying to compete. So in the bargain, what's happening is we lost our connection. That's the fundamental reason why we can't really touch that space of peace. We have it inside. The moment you start accepting yourself as an original and doesn't worry about others' opinions, criticisms, judgments, comparisons, there will be big relief happening inside. Great freedom. That we have already. It's not something which we can gain from anywhere. You don't need a teacher also for this. Like for example, in our houses, most of the houses, we have seen how small children work. I always believe they are the greatest teachers. Small children, completely spontaneous, never worried about past, never worried about future, always in the present. When they get something, they enjoy it fully, 100%, and once it's done, they throw it away. They don't think about it anymore. Like that, living in the present, experiencing life in the present, being oneself, this is the fundamental for the peace inside.
Children are also pure. You often talk about purity. You wrote a book, The Power of Purity. What kind of purity are you actually referring to, and why is it powerful?
Fundamentally, purity of intention. Whatever we do, if we have to be extremely authentic, the intention should be pure. Imagine I expect something from you and do something. Already that expectation contaminates things. Our connection should be pure. So a connection with very little expectation is always pure. Unconditional connections. A mother and child connection usually is like that. A very unconditional connection. Not only human mother, any mother and child. Because a motherhood is that of nurturing. Nurturing life, nurturing practically in the world. In short, it's nurturing. So that's pure. Like that, a teacher who needs nothing from the child except the success of the child is pure. Our intention should be pure. It should not be for the sake of something. What creates impurity is that we work in today's world expecting something all the time. Because we've been taught to be transactional. All our life, we are trying to be transactional. And in the bargain, we lose ourselves. People do bizarre things because just to get something from this earth. But they never ever remember that we can take nothing from here. We came empty-handed, we leave empty-handed. In this whole structure, all you have as earnings from this world are experiences. Nothing else you can take from here. If you're hungry, you had food, that makes you satisfied for some time. That's an experience of contentment. But we are always chasing something, trying to acquire something, power, positions, money, and end of the day we die empty-handed. We go empty-handed. So I'm not saying everything is bad, or you can attain whatever you want to attain. That's a personal thing. But end of the day, if you do not have contentment, imagine a very, very rich person, but cannot sleep peacefully. That's not of any value. But maybe a very poor person might be sleeping peacefully, contented, happy with what they have. The value is your contentment, personal peace, personal happiness. That's the value. So whatever we attain in the world is summing up to how much are you enjoying it? How much are you experiencing it? Experience is the only earning of a lifetime. Every moment experience, variety of experience each day. And what we save are memories. Our savings are only memories. We cannot save anything which we can take when we go. But we can afford to have great memories. And that's our real savings. And our expenses are our expressions. What we express into this world. If you are expressing selfishness, greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, it is not going to get us any kind of respect or support. If the world has to love you, you have to express selflessness, unconditional love, non-violence, things like that. And if you have to express those, you have to cultivate it inside. You cannot express anything which you don't have. You know, we are knowingly or unknowingly only expressing what we are into this world. Even if we try to mask it, hide it, end of the day, what we express into the world is what we are. And we think that people don't understand. People understand. People do watch. They understand. That's how respect comes. Respect happens when we consistently express unconditionality. Imagine, we live for the world lives for you. What you sow, that you reap. This is how life works. These fundamental things are forgotten in the mad rush for something. That's what I'm telling people. You have everything you want inside. You know, if you start feeling abundance, abundance comes to you. The secret of success and wealth is this abundance. You should feel abundant inside. We were with a charity group now in Bar, Zena Bara, the women of Bar. Yeah, they're doing great work. Last year we went there. We supported them as we can. This year also we went there. So they were telling me something which really touched me. Between last year and this year, the number of recipients have increased. I asked him, is it because of COVID? So one of the things which surprised me, it's not a surprise actually, it's everywhere in the world. It's not only connected to Montenegro. There are divorces, more separations. Separations, actually, the women end up with children. So children has to be taken care, women have to be, they have to survive. Plus some of them have diseases, ailments, and there's no support from the man. Or in other way also, probably the man is ill and there's no support. Whichever way it is, you see there is no backup or a kind of integrated thing happening in the family level. Because most of the times we are not looking at what we can achieve together. We are looking at what individuals. And always we see conflicts. Conflict separates.
Is this why you often stress the importance of charity work, the importance of service, so to say?
I stress the value of charity work because it's our responsibility to share. We all have something in abundance. And take the 8 billion people of the earth. All of them have something in abundance. For example, some people have a lot of time in abundance. Some people have skills, experience in abundance. Some people have money. Money is not everything. Everybody has something. So when you share that as a responsibility to the society, that society becomes richer. So I am telling about charity work not as a favor to anybody, but as a responsibility. I always tell one thing. When you're holding the passport of a country, you should talk about responsibility towards that country. What have you given to the country? We all talk about rights. Everywhere you go, people talk about rights. And we elect certain people to governments, and then we start stressing them for our rights. Instead, why don't we just work on responsibility? You know, that makes you richer, country richer, society more balanced, and also the government can rule peacefully.
Could we say along these lines that charity work actually purifies us?
Absolutely, 100%. Not only purifies, strengthens us. Imagine you want very little from the earth. You are like an emperor. You will feel like really a monarch because you hardly need anything from the world. And when you need a lot of things from the world, you're always looking for something to get from here. You always feel like a beggar. It doesn't matter how much money we have. And if you see, a lot of rich people in the world are very poor at heart. They only have money. You know, they are scared that if this all goes away, what will happen to me? But I believe that you can have much more richness through winning hearts by doing something for the world, giving something which you have with the world, or sharing something which you have with the world. Yeah. So it really increases your level of purity. The less you have dependencies, the more free you are. Freedom is our choice.
Yes, I remember you addressed this in your book. You actually wrote that dependencies and expectations are the main challenges we all face in our lives. Why is that so?
That's actually a lot to do with our education system. See, our education system are only making us to live a life. You know, they are preparing us to get a job. But education system should be always connected to who you are. So if you realize, if a child realizes, hey, look here, I'm a unique being. I have a great relevance on earth. I am walking, talking, I'm doing things, and this is all connected to the energy inside me. And what expands me is when I share, or what I share expands me. What I try to hoard, my selfishness contracts me, makes me feel lesser. This is the education that we should give to children. What we are telling children, how to get a job. So our whole system is focused on somehow making a living, not being the life. So if you have to be a ruler of your life, you have to know who you are. You need to study the manual of life. That's not taught in the world. It's not only in, I'm not talking about Montenegro specifically. In the world, that education is not there. Then we focus on religion. But are you satisfied with yourself? Then you follow any religion, you will have greater connection. You will understand what Jesus speaks. You will understand what Prophet Muhammad speaks. You will understand what Buddha says. All these we will understand easily when you know yourself. So everything should be to stabilize you. When you are really stable, your family is stable, your society is stable, country is stable. So my attempt is to create stable people. And to a great extent I have succeeded. That's why we are in 6 continents now. So society really needs it. So that's probably why people are coming. 200 people came here. So they know where they're going. And I always tell them, don't follow me without questioning. Question should be asked as to nothing, never ever blindly follow anything in life. In life, not only spirituality I'm talking about, in life. What you should follow, you should feel. Is this true to you? Do you resonate with it? Is it making any sense? Never ever follow anything because somebody else is following. Maybe that person has a reason. You may not have the same reason. So analyze, understand yourself. When you say, okay, this is real, this will make me more stable. And it's the testing stone is yourself. Your stability, your rate of success. Simply put, whatever happens in the society never tilts you, never shakes you. Imagine it doesn't shake you. You're cool when everything is whatever is happening in the society. That shows how far you have reached inside.
We all have moments when we don't react to the outer world, no matter what is going on. And I must say that actually experiencing peace in the middle of external turmoil is very empowering. But those moments don't last, they pass. So my question for you is, how can we make this inner peace, this inner stability more lasting, more sustainable?
The first point you said, I think the answer lies in the question. Why are we not having continuous happiness? That is because we are connecting our happiness with things outside. Our happiness is not connected to what is inside. So there is an expectation for sure. If somebody smiles at you, you feel happy. If they don't smile at you, you feel sad. So everything is linked to something outside, and we pin our happiness with something outside. So the fundamental is that you should be contented inside. Outside is all tests to prove that you are inside. I'll give you one example, even though it's a bit funny example, but it tells a story. Buddha used to give sermons. When he was sitting and giving sermons, a lot of people used to come. Like Jesus used to give sermons, and a lot of people used to come to him. Similarly, so he was sitting and giving sermons, and one person came up to him and abused him, called him all sorts of names and told, you are actually spoiling the people, all things negative. And his disciples were very angry. They almost got up to beat him up. Buddha said, no, sit down, don't do anything. And he heard the whole thing. When this guy was venting, and Buddha heard everything, and then he went away. The guy who scolded went away. So the disciples asked him, why were you silent? He was abusing you so bad, and why did you keep quiet? Buddha said, no, you didn't understand. This was a test for me, whether I am living my teachings. Don't react, instead respond. So if I was not affected, whatever he said goes back to him. I'm not buying it. I'm not taking it. So what he said, what he thought, what he believed I am, it all stays with him. I'm not affected. So this was a test for me, whether I will be affected if I'm going to buy them. So this is exactly the fundamental here. We buy everything. If somebody says something, we immediately take it on. And then we put it into our life. And then we become very upset and sad. But at the same time, it's sitting with somebody. Leave it there. So there is a very big chance, two things we can actually use effectively in life. One is respond. Response means use your brain. Imagine somebody calls you a donkey. So use your brain. Or maybe he can't see well. He thinks I'm a donkey. So that it becomes funny. Second thing is that we can opt for silence. In some cases, silence is very powerful. Somebody is really arguing with you, especially in arguments. In the office, it happens. Somebody is really upset and arguing. You just sit quiet, watch them, not getting affected. After the argument happens, then comes discussion. Can we do something? So, but when the argument happens itself, we react. Reaction means from the emotion. Reaction is always from emotion or ego. Argument never solves a thing. It aggravates, it goes into another argument. But discussion is the right maturity, is a sign of maturity. So sometimes before discussion, there's an argument. So what you take in becomes you. It comes into you and it starts behaving through you or starts working through you. There is a poetry which in translation it says, when you buy devils, you have to handle them also. Not devils per se, not evil, but devils means these problems from the world. If you're buying them, then you have to take care of them. If you don't buy them, it sits in the shop.
So as long as we are not buying devils, as long as we are in this non-reactive state, as long as we are in silence, we are out of trouble. But how can we achieve this state, this deep silence, as you call it?
Silence means lack of thoughts, no thoughts inside. What are thoughts coming from? Desires. When you have desires, you have a thought, and the next level is expression. Like, for example, you have a desire for coffee. So you have a thought, I should have a coffee. Next would be, oh, can I have a coffee? And then finally, you have coffee. So this is the cycle of desire. Thought, expression, action, experience, memory, desire. Again, the cycle goes. This is how life works. This is how our life goes. And that leaves an experience. Experience is stored as a memory. So, and that memory leads to further desires. This is the cycle with which we live. We are rotating in this cycle. So, second stage, what happens? You do have a desire, but you don't really care about the experience. You don't really need it. So you're watching the thought. So you already took a step backwards. Not like taking a dive into it. Thought happens, but you don't sometimes express it. So what happens, when you consistently don't express it, thoughts become weaker because you are not fulfilling them. So fulfillment part becomes, so the level of peace in mind becomes longer. You become more observant rather than reactive or plunging into life. Third level is that because thoughts are not happening, that whole mind structure changes because you become peace yourself, completely peaceful. Because thoughts are not bothering you. And if you get a coffee, you're happy. If you don't get a coffee also, you're happy. Means everything is okay. Acceptance level increases. When acceptance level increases, your mind structure changes. Structure of mind changes. It's like the pillars. The pillars are thoughts holding the mind. When pillars starts collapsing, the mind itself collapses. Then what happens? The pure you, what you are, minus your position in the society, minus your possessions, whatever you have earned from the society, and minus your relations. The pure you becomes more and more evident. That's what we call as great masters and saints. Their operating level is pure. Their desire level is zero from the society. So what do they give to the society? Themselves, as pure as it gets. And how do you know that you attain the purity? Thousands of people will come to you. Because they come to you because you need nothing from them. You see, you become really, really effective in the world. The effectiveness happens when your dependence is reduced. Mostly, we want so many things, so that's why we are working. So we are always in a mode where we are ineffective to some extent. We could be very skilled. We know how to use our skills as well. So, but we get in measures. Imagine you're a CEO, you get a particular salary, like that. But here, there's no measure anymore. You are the world. The world is yours. Everything comes to you. The measure changes. So this whole cycle I told, there are a few more steps actually. Then you go into deeper silence and stuff like that. Then you become a presence eventually. It's the personality dissolves. Personality is what you project. That changes. You become like a mirror. Because you don't need anything from anybody. When somebody comes to you, you will reflect them, not you. So you become a great master. It's mastery. And that kind of things happen. That's why Socrates said, you know, even if I show myself fully, they can't see me. So instead of drinking poison every day, little bit from the society, I might drink it together. So he said that because people don't understand you. Jesus was not understood. Buddha was not understood in his time. Krishna was not understood in his time. They were all free. They were born free. They lived free. Freedom, which is not understandable to a bound society.
As we are talking about freedom, let me read a short quote from your book, The Power of Purity, where you, among other things, say that detachment within attachment is part of liberation, part of freedom. What did you mean by this?
Detachment simply means you have a thing or not, you are still fine. Like attachment is that, imagine, I will use the example of coffee. It's easy to understand. Imagine I need a coffee. If I have a coffee, I'm happy. If I don't get a coffee also, I'm happy. That is the detachment while you have the attachment. Means you like to have a coffee, and you are told this also, but they say coffee is over. No problem. You don't suffer. You don't have headache or, I mean, the reactions are not the body. That is what I mean to say. So detachment simply means nothing outside binds you. You are free. You know, this is why I said during COVID time, so many people went through series of depressive states. That's because their usual freedom, which is connected to materials or places or people, did not happen. And what happened was restrictions of various types. Like you can't even hug somebody, touch somebody. So they went through crisis. But I said this is a big training for you. How to depend on yourself.
You have just mentioned Corona crisis. Apart from different restrictions, it also brought us the increased awareness of our own mortality. I guess it is natural that we are afraid of death. Sometimes we are even afraid of change. But my question is, how can this that awareness, this awareness that everything is temporary, us included, how can it help us rather than scare us?
The thing is that our connection to the personality, our personality, which is what are we projecting to the world? Our personality. People recognize us with our personality, the name, the form, the way we talk, the way we do things. That's what the society looks at us, and we are struggling to maintain it always. The entire lifetime, we are trying to maintain our personality. So that personality's death is what we are afraid of. You know, we are worried about that. That's why people try to look younger, and all these things, you know, they color the hair. All the things are connected to maintaining a personality. And that's exactly what we are worried about in life. But imagine you are in acceptance of the changes. Most of these fears will go. Many of these fears will go. We are evolving, and while we are evolving, we are accepting as things happen. This we see in animals. The cats and dogs, etc., some stray ones, sometimes they get injured. It will cry when there is a pain, but then soon it will lick the wound and start its life. It will not sit down and complain long, and they heal fast. Most of our healings, or we have the same ability, like any animal, to heal ourselves. But the healing doesn't happen because we don't allow it. We resist it. We complain, we criticize, we blame somebody for our thing. So in the whole bargain, we make a lot of emotional mess. So in every state, like we said, there are fears trapped inside, which is connected to our personality. If we are born, we will die. These two boundaries we cannot change. One is birth, one is death. And we don't know when. Like we fall into sleep, we fall into death. And when there is energy inside our body, we call it life. When the energy leaves our body, we call it death. Both are inevitable. And while we are living, the best earning is great memories. Because that's the only savings we have. To have great memories. To have that great memories, you need to have great relationships. We don't even care for relationships in life. Relationships, the secret are two things. One is that we should care genuinely. Second is that we should incorporate freedom into it. If you want to maintain any relationship, the main cement should be freedom. Especially husband, wife, children. The more freedom doesn't mean that you can do anything you like, and that's not the thing. That is a lack of discipline. Freedom means you accept another individual as an individual, not as somebody to you. Like a child should be another individual, and we respect the child as a potential leader of the society tomorrow. You see, the child will prosper, will feel strengthened. The moment you start treating it as, you're a child, this is not good, and look at that child, you know, he's better than you, finished. Comparison diminishes the individuality. So our way of life, our lifestyle tells a lot about how matured we are. And we can have a great society, great country. Just respect. One word, respect. You can nurture the children as potential leaders of the society just by telling them or making them understand they are unique. Avoid comparing, avoid competitions, avoid imitations. The person will grow up as it is. And when they grow up, they will be really independent and individualistic, self-sufficient. And we can create such a society. It is not impossible. But the moment the competition comes, comparisons comes, everything goes down. And success is not in winning examinations. Success is in contentment. Are you contented at each point of time? Otherwise, when will you be contented? If we don't care about our daily life, which part of the life will we be happy about?
So if we raise our children with this pressure, if we put our expectations on them, if we constantly compare them with other children, we actually underestimate their uniqueness. Is this why many adults are actually ending up attending your BU program where the uniqueness is appreciated? What is BU program about?
Yeah, we have a particular program now. I'm doing it empowered. I'm trying to create masters. See, what is the use of having followers? See, anybody can follow anybody. Even if you don't know the person, I like this person. Many people follow rock stars, film stars, etc. So following you can never guarantee. It's a mind's game. But I believe that if somebody comes to me, their stability should speak. They become more stable, more themselves, and I want to see them independent. You know, there's this famous story of the farmer and the cow. The cow belongs to the farmer. Farmer has tied a rope on the neck of the cow and holding the rope because farmer is afraid the cow will run away. Cow wants to go. Farmer can't go. And farmer also cannot go because he is holding the cow. So both are stuck. So this is the life of most of the people in the world. We are either the farmer or the cow. You know, so this is not life. Life has to be experienced each moment. We have taken birth anyway. What are we doing with life? This question should be asked. It's not about spirituality. People unnecessarily use spirituality for everything. It's about you. What you have got out of this life. Imagine it's a house or even a yacht or whatever you want. But the point is that you raise yourself to the deserving level. You should deserve it, where you are not in poverty inside. And you raise yourself to the level of deserving, everything comes to you. Most of the things of life comes to you when your frequency shifts. We are all frequencies. Some people refuse to raise to a frequency, maybe because of upbringing, education, society, religion, whatever. But the point is, how much have you experienced it? So I look at life as you experience everything you want from life. Let it all be, so that your life is full, complete. If you are afraid of experiencing life, lifetime is wasted.
Many people walking on the spiritual path share that the main catalyst, or at least one of the main catalysts for change, is often suffering. It seems that we are willing to evolve only after we had suffered a lot. Why is that so?
That's an eye-opener. Usually, suffering opens your eyes. And the root cause of suffering is resistance. If acceptance happens, suffering doesn't happen. Pain will be there, connected to situations. But suffering is connected to resistance. Like people, like there is this boy, I think you would have seen in social media, he died at the age of 27 or something. He had cancer from the age of 14 or something. But the moment his social media came, he was inspiring many cancer patients to have a cheerful life. And because of that, many people recovered. He was in hospital most of the time. But he used social media, Instagram or these other things, to cheer up people. And when he died, the entire world or so many people mourned, because this man's value addition to their life was unbelievable despite his pains. So suffering is actually our choice. We can choose to suffer, or we can, okay, this is happening to me. So for me, especially when my daughter passed away in a road accident, I asked one question: why didn't I die? I was already in my 30s. I lived my life already. She was not even 5 years old. Why did she go? Why couldn't I go? But there's no why in life, you know. There's no why. There's no reason. What can you say? Reason. We can blame somebody. We can blame somebody for that. But that doesn't solve the matter. She's gone. I can't get her back. So I was in pain, for sure. But I refused to accept sympathies. People come to you, oh, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry this happened. You know what happens with sympathies? It paralyzes you. You're already in sorrow. And when so many people come and tell you, oh, I'm sorry, poor you, what happens is our complete initiative dies. We will become more and more helpless and sinking. I went away from that place after the rituals, the completion of rituals. I didn't stay there. And I decided one thing: I will not have self-pity nor sympathy. This happened in life. I don't want to know the cause. Cause is not important. A situation happened, its effect is important. I understood. I changed the pain to a purpose. Today we are in 21 countries, touching many lives, you know, and you can, in the T-shirt, it's the picture of my daughter. She lives through many people, through touching many lives, so many charity activities. So we can convert any pain to a purpose. And I think that's, otherwise what is the next option? I'll be suffering, I'll be continuously drinking alcohol or ruining myself. But what's the use for the world then? So pains are given in life as an eye-opener. Hey, look here, you can choose this pain, and these are compelling pains. These pains you have no, you can't say that I want it in a diluted version. It's like hard hit. Hit means it tilts you completely. It throws you off balance. So that this is not the only thing. Soon after my daughter died, I lost my job. I had savings, so I invested in a building. I thought I'll have a flat. That builder ran away with the money. Then I decided to, I had a full-fledged house. I decided to shift my materials to hometown. And I kept it in a house because I didn't have a house. I was waiting for this builder to build the house, which never happened. This was stolen. People broke open into the house and systematically took away my materials. So at one point in time, I had a full family. Then, of course, I divorced as well, my first wife. So I had a full family, my child, my wife, my materials, my household materials, possessions, money, job, all gone. So from one point of having everything to another point of having zero. It's almost like I'm beginning my life. That is the time when I learned the best lessons of life. Because even if you call somebody, some friends, they won't pick your call. They wouldn't call you back because they think that this man wants something. So I really understood the friendship. Then later I got a job, another job as a CEO of a company. All these people came back. You know, I was not having a job for about 8 months or 6 months or something, 6 to 8 months. That time all the people went away. Then everybody came back. I had a time when there was only one meal a day because I didn't have money. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't complain. I just had one meal and rest of the time I drank water. That was the only money I could afford at that time. So every situation, means this is all simultaneously. My daughter died and everything. It's not like one hit after hit, one after the other. And then today, what I talk to people are from my practical experiences. I've seen it all. I experienced it all. So life gave me enough and more lessons. So what I speak today have the smell or the scent of the experiences. I'm not talking from books. What I speak is from my life, my truth. And one thing I tell people, see, you can be a phoenix anytime. Just take a decision. One thing in life you can never forget or never ever should forget is attitude. You should believe that you can do it. It's not about spirituality, it's not about people outside, it's about you. It's about you. You believe, see, I'm unique, I'm authentic, I can be authentic. People may try to pull you down, they may not appreciate you, they may discard you. See, society can only do two things. Either they like you or they do not like you. They love you or hate you. Both are okay. If our dependency on the society is not strong, we can survive anything. Because I have seen a complete lack of acceptance and complete acceptance. Both I have seen. See, when I had the position, the power, 22 years I worked in corporate. Started with as a sales executive, a junior position. I ended up the country head and CEO. So in about 22 years, not even 22, by 35, I was the head of a country, which is usually for 50 years plus people. So I really worked hard. So all these years, I saw these two sides. Mohanđi plus the company is valuable. Mohanđi minus the organization, zero value. Today, Mohanđi as an individual has value. But the position and the profession always adds it up. So one thing is sure, your position is temporary. You are not temporary. You see? So the more you invest in yourself, you can never be, like there's a saying, if you're born in fire, no sun can burn you. You see? So this capacity is in us, all of us. We have it. Sometimes pains open it up for you, where you have no choice. Your only choice is survival. What do? It opens up in you. You become like a lion. See, I always like to remember the lion. Lion is not the fastest animal in the forest, nor the strongest, nor the largest. But when a lion comes in contact with an elephant, elephant shivers. A lion has come. Attitude. Lion behaves a lion. See, elephant is huge. It can just kill the lion without any, or just throw him away. But elephant thinks twice. Lion has come. It's in the eyes. It's in the attitude. So you got to look at life in eyes, and believe in yourself. That's the bottom line. That's being you. That's what's being you called. And you can't be anybody else. Nobody. Please remember, society is sometimes very cruel. The moment you fall down, it will climb on you. Society. So you got to get up, whatever it matters. Life gives you those opportunities. We got to catch it and move forward.